two very important issues: social platforms and goods. The first one is the social platforms with the Facebook, with the analysis of this social network. And I'm looking for the question by the teams, goods and financial services. And first of all, I want to talk about our schedule. Today we'll have two lessons. If you don't mind, I want to skip the break inside to these seminars and don't have any stops. After the first presentation, we are waiting for debate stage, and after that, we are going to the next presentation. If you don't mind, if you have any problems with this schedule, if we have to wait someone else who will be able only in the 1 p.m., please let me know, and I will make the break, and we will wait for the 1 p.m. For the next presentation. If you don't mind, we will start it right after the first debate. So that's all about our schedule. Please let me know if you have any problems with this into the chat, into the messages. And let's move to the presentation. I have seen that you prepared the presentation and you shared the screen. Please, let's get started.
Good afternoon. Today we want to present our second part of the analysis of Facebook. On the slide, you can see how the Facebook business model canvas looks like. Let's take a closer look at some of the aspects of this model. Customer segment. For users, they are the biggest customer segment of Facebook and stand for 1/3 of the world's population. They are all the people who have their profiles in the network and use them to interact and communicate with friends and other people with similar interests around the globe. Advertisers and marketers. This is a segment involved in Facebook revenue. It encompasses all the brands and businesses that advertise in the social network. They pay to have ads of their products and services in the platform, which from its side offers a more qualified audience. Developers. It is the smallest customer segment and it includes the ones who develop apps and games through Facebook's platform. Value proposition of Facebook. As Facebook has 3 diverse customer segments, each segment will perceive the brand's value in a different way. That said, let's divide value proposition by segment. For users, the greatest benefit is to keep in touch with family and friends via text and picture posting, and by interaction through comments and direct messages. Other advantage is the availability of entertainment and information. For advertisers, the possibility of target companies focused on their particular target audience has been of great value for brands. By achieving greater penetration in its main audience, companies also get greater engagement in their customer segment of interest. Another relevant point, especially for small businesses or young companies, is that the tools to advertise on Facebook are quite simple, in the best do-it-yourself style, which reduces the need to hire someone to develop their own advertising content. For developers, Facebook is an amazing platform for developing apps and games, and it offers a wide range, view, and disclosure. Besides, there is a great network of providers for advertisement services. Distribution channels of Facebook. It is clear that the main distribution channels of Facebook are its own website and app, because that's where users find each other and advertisers assess their audience. Inside that, the channels can be divided into feed, notifications, direct messages, and stories. Key activities. It is the platform development and maintenance in order to ensure a positive experience and avoid negative effects in the social network. Then, besides all the infrastructure that the website demands to keep it working properly and optimizedly 24/7, Facebook also needs to invest in good practices and control bad behavior within the network. Furthermore, the company focuses on user acquisition and engagement, data and information storage and security, talent hiring and retaining, sales and marketing. Despite all the acquisition and controversies, Facebook is still booming.
Uh, and now I'll tell you about value creation. As for platform type, Facebook allows users to use both a website and the mobile app. Key activity of the platform is content creation. Facebook is aimed to provide customers with different content, information, news, music, photos, games, and advert. And now let's talk about price discovery. Fixed prices exist in advert placing via Ads Manager of your account. To show your advert, you can choose different options which vary the price, but prices for each option are set in by platform. Prices set by sellers exist in Facebook Marketplace, a convenient destination for people to discover, buy, and sell items. There is also negotiation through donations in charity section. As for review system in Facebook, it's user reviews. With the business Facebook page, entrepreneurs are able to collect reviews from their customers. And to have a successful Facebook based business, people should make reviews available and care about rating. And now about value delivery. The key value of Facebook is social value, in particular interactions, as Facebook was created to fulfill a social mission to make the world more connected and open. As for participants of the platform, there are C2B, B2B, and B2C business models. Aggregation of data is a common C2B practice. Consumers provide personal information to the platform. Businesses such as Facebook utilize this information in an effort to facilitate their B2B transactions with advertisers. And we also can see B2C model when businesses show advert to customers, sell products and services to them via Facebook Marketplace. Geographical scope of Facebook is global. Nowadays, the number of users of Facebook has reached approximately 2.5 billion worldwide, except blocking countries. And now let's talk about value capture. The main revenue stream of the platform is advertising, as businesses pay for displaying ads in the platform. However, Facebook has other minor revenue streams, for instance, service sales. For example, customers can buy games and apps in game room, and platform users can turn on paid notifications about messages and other actions in their account. Another minor revenue stream is commissions. The commissions for the sale is 5% per shipment, and it applies to all product categories on Facebook. As for pricing mechanism, Facebook has differentiated pricing for displaying ads. The total cost of advert depends on your budget and on price per result, which depends on your bidding strategy in auctions. Auctions are automatically held at every opportunity to show the user an ad. Via auction, via auctions, platform systems determine which ad a person will see. What bet the system will make on the ad auction depends on the strategy you choose. As for price discrimination, in Facebook it exists via quantity based commissions. The commission for the sale is 5% per shipment. However, for shipments of less than $8, a freight rate is 40 cents. And Facebook has three types of revenue source. The main is third party, as the most vital money making system for Facebook is in its advertising program. Advertisers pay for displaying ads, and platform users just create content and audience. Sellers are another revenue source, as they pay fees for utilizing Facebook payment infrastructure. And also buyers. uh, is a revenue source as Facebook sell Oculus virtual reality products and makes a small portion of revenue from its sale.
Facebook is the world's most popular media owner, creates no content. Thanks to this phrase, we understand that consumers of Facebook are companies that want to advertise something, and the main competitors of Facebook are traditional media whose main revenue stream is also advertising. The expansion of social networks was partly determined by newspapers, magazines, radio, and TV. All the things that the traditional media couldn't give the reader were provided by the new media. Let's start by analyzing the competition between Facebook and traditional media. Consider the advantages of each option for advertisers. There is no doubt that Facebook has a lot of pluses. Firstly, the marketer can track the audience's reaction in social networks in real time. Likes, comments, reposts, conversion rates. These are all signals that the advertiser reads in order to adjust the campaign and increase its effectiveness. Secondly, Facebook in Russia is more an official rather than entertainment social network that is used for work. The main part of the audience is made up of people aged 22 to 34 years. Users are passionate about personal growth, travel, and self development. It turns out that Facebook is a social network for advertising luxury goods and premium segments. Also, Facebook is a great option for a seller who is targeting the Western market because their platform is international. Of course, traditional analogs also have a lot of advantages. For example, the TV is more popular among middle aged and retired people than the internet. That's why they can be reached with an advertising message watching TV. As for newspapers, they have audience loyalty and have companies reach an interested audience in a narrow field. For example, gardeners. The main advantages of the radio is the cost that can be lower than in the internet. Also, almost everyone listens to the radio at work, in the car, on public transport, in shops and cafes. So, advertising on it hits a large audience. Finally, creating an audio message for the radio is not difficult. It is usually short and a company can record it at any studio. All in all, regular analysts, marketers, and advertising market researchers report an increase in the volume of online advertising. Budgets are increasing, audience reach is growing, and there are more and more tools for launching advertising campaigns. Of course, social networks and traditional media are competitors. An advertiser should choose between them placing ads. But on the other hand, social networks and traditional media actively interact, increasing the efficiency of each other's work. Let's discuss some examples of such cooperation. Firstly, Facebook launched Facebook Journalism Project, which aims to establish a closer contact between the social network and the journalistic community. Also, Facebook and Twitter and a number of news organizations have joined the Media Partner Network, which aims to combat false information and improve the quality of news in social networks. What is more, many publications and TV channels create accounts and groups to promote their media resources. For example, Commerzant and Time Out. The audience of subscribers on Facebook is active. Users here are more likely to click on the posted links to sites, participate in some discussions, and interact with their content.
Yeah, on the slide you can see the phrase by Mark Zuckerberg that thinks that well, people need more control over content in social media from states, and not only states. I think the most important thing when we talk about the regulatory norms of the content of the Facebook, we need to talk about their work with coping with the fake news or some conspiracy and so on. So that's why Facebook have its own um, list of specialists, and the first 20 of them uh, like connected with this. Yes, independently supervisor wrote on May 6th, 2020. I guess not 21. Sorry for that. These are experts in various industries and technologies who are able to make decisions together and to understand digital content and internet security rules. Next slide, please. Yeah, thank you. But let's pay more attention about Russia and how Facebook is regulated here. Well, by the end of the 2021, there was an idea by the Russian government to create a special system of digital residency. Uh, so it's like when a companies like I don't know, Google, Facebook, Booking, or Amazon will be required to register subsidiaries or representative offices in the country and pay taxes here. But of course, the most important thing that's representative offices will be like regulated by this like national Russian laws. For example, Russian lawmakers have approved the law on information technologies and information protection, or things like Yarovaya package. They're designed to solve the problem of removing information from the public information space, which are prohibited by the Russian legislation, which are like extremism or sometimes what they call Russian authorities call fake news or propaganda of some things which are not able by the Russian authorities. And yeah, the next thing is that the State Duma um, by the new law has ordered social networks to block prohibited content, like as they already said, like child pornography and extremist materials. This is like very universal thing why Russia State Duma or government wants to like officially wants to ban content in the internet, and you can refresh here the story with partially blocking Twitter. This was like the first step of Russian authorities how they can harm the work of social networks, Western social networks, if they are not delete information that is not approved by the Russian government. Like officially, this is, again, as I said, is about child pornography or extremist materials, but like in real, this is about some political materials or independent media like MPH media in the Twitter and so on. And the next thing is that yeah, they adopted new law about penalties for refusing to delete illegal information. Like all site owners and social networks as well, or hosting sites like YouTube, they need to ban all the content that Roskomnadzor thinks is illegal. So you can see how Twitter, how this work started with the Twitter, and now it continues with another social networks, with the Facebook as well. Uh, so what about the regulation of traditional media if we'll compare it? Uh, well, in Russia, there is a federal law on mass media. So this law prohibits the abuse of freedom of the media from their owners or from some other actors. But well, at the same time, the list of prohibited information, yeah, is really narrow. So this is again extremism, slander, some confidential information or propaganda of drugs and some other stuff, which is becoming the reasons of why in Russia there are so many criminal or administrative cases against independent media, especially with the drugs. Now they have, for example, new law that prohibited it and makes like real sentences for propaganda of drugs, and Roskomnadzor sometimes ban all content about drugs, even if it is not a propaganda, but just the information about this social problem. And yeah, as you see on the slide, and as I mentioned it before many times, the main actor here is Roskomnadzor, like the federal service which regulates mass communications. And this is about not the regulation of traditional media, but the um, regulation of the internet platforms as Facebook and others as well. And if we talk about traditional media, there is also Rospechaj exists, like the Federal Agency of Press and Mass Communication, which also regulates their work. Next slide, please.
The next stage of our analysis is to consider the positive and negative effects of a social network on society. The main positive aspect is, of course, communication. Social networks provide an opportunity to communicate with colleagues at work, relatives and friends living in different cities and countries, as well as to make new acquaintances. Moreover, Facebook provides a good platform to contact with world top companies, to promote some ideas, ask questions, or leave a complaint, and this way is the most effective to be heard. Also, it helps to search for like-minded people. There are many important and necessary groups where people can share their experience or just their views on life. Also, some public activities like the Green Movement discuss their ideas and coordinate their work on social networks. As for self-development, social networks allow us to develop comprehensively. We can watch any feature or popular science film that interests us, listen to music, read any book, learn to play the guitar or a foreign language. Also, the increasing confidence is a big plus of Facebook. Communication and social networks allow us to quickly get used to new teams, maintain relationships with old friends and relatives. As a 2010 study shows, photo sharing and social media communication strengthen relationships and families. Having friends increases your social capital, that is, your circle of acquaintances. A pleasant pastime. Here users can really relax after a hard day's work without spending money on anything. And important fact that Facebook is a way to save lives, because that not only 24-hour suicide prevention numbers are not the only ones that help in saving lives. Motivating people and spreading awareness among them is equally important. If some people are assured that they are not alone or they are not the only ones with such kind of problems, it can really turn out to be important. There are many websites that provide support and help through the social media platforms. Moreover, Facebook moderation tracks all publications related, for example, suicide, and sends the data to the appropriate services for each case for help people. Unfortunately, Facebook may also be negative. For example, the reduced duration of concentration. This is a side effect that has emerged due to the philosophy of information integration. When working with a single network resources begins to include a lot of functionality, such as communication, listening to audio recordings, watching videos, discussion, and so on, the user is tempted to start everything at the same time and implement several processes at once. Also, the big problem is Facebook depression. For the first time, the relationship between depressive states and time spent on the internet was discovered in 1988 by the American psychologist Robert Kraut. He called it the paradox of the internet. A technology that was supposed to give people unprecedented freedom of communication led to the isolation of its users. Cyberbullying, the aggressive or demeaning comments on social media, is especially common in teenage communities, but it's also often exposed to people with a certain position on acute social and political issues. Also, Facebook can form a dependency. Teenagers are particularly susceptible to social media addiction. And the loss of face-to-face communication is the last negative aspect. The downside is that a person loses the skill of real communication because he's used to communicating online. Texting in social networks, people often do not follow the rules of grammar and punctuation, use a poor vocabulary, emotions are replaced by emoticons. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for this deep diving into the nature of the social network. I want to add just a few words about that. We're thinking about the government in these relationships, about the firms, and about the ultimate customers of the social networks. But the trick here is that the users of the social networks are firms at the same time. You could use your content if you made it good. You could use it for promotional issues, and you could use it as the firm. And this is the trick why customers improving their relationships with the firm, and why their relationships use customers to promote their activities, to promote their sales or something else. And you as a user, you could pay your time that you spend inside the Facebook or the other social network, and time of your audience. So the trick is that the definition of the customer of the social network and the firm are pretty simple, and you could be a customer and the firm at the same time. You could be a person, and you can promote your business or your ideas or your other activities. And this is why the social networks, this is not the main reason, of course, but this is one of the reasons why the social networks are so famous for companies, and why this directional promotion is so significant for them, and to communicate with your customer right in. Sorry, do you hear me? I understood that
Yeah.
I have maybe any problems with the connection. So let's move to the question. And the first question is the first team with their questions is, yeah, just give me a few seconds. Yeah, goods team, goods. Are you ready?
Financial is ready to ask some questions.
Yeah, you have only 3 questions, please. Let's get started with it.
Yes, our questions are following. So, in which country is Facebook banned, and the reason is the reason of inconvenience in using platform or some political issues?
Yeah, thank you for this question. Indeed, there is a list of countries where Facebook is banned, and like this list consists of mostly authoritarian countries, and not only Facebook but other big social networks are banned there. Basically, if you we can say that like economically or technologically weak authoritarian countries just block the social networks, like I don't know, Turkmenia. Some countries like Iran, they try to block Western social networks, of course, for political reasons, and then at the same time create their like local alternatives for people, which will be controlled by the national laws, and all political opposition content will be deleted there, and so on. We can also look on China, which is like the strongest authoritarian state nowadays, economically and technologically as well. And well, we can say that the Chinese internet was developing itself was isolated from the beginning, and there is like Facebook in China is banned as well, but China from the start they tried to build their own platforms and technologies, including social networks. And of course, in China, there is a list of Chinese social networks which they use, and all illegal, well, from the point of view of the Chinese government, all illegal content there is banned, and all the information about users is also controlled by the state. If we will look on Russia, where Facebook, well, still and hopefully will not be banned, or it will be during this year, we don't know. It's like the middle variant when Russia already has a very good IT sector with a lot of platforms, with domestical platforms like Vkontakte or Taklasniki and so on, which are really popular and which were really popular. And then state started control over them, so they just bought firstly Mail.ru by Usmanov, which is very close to a Kremlin oligarch, and then this company bought Vkontakte and Naklasniki, and now like the most popular and important social networks in Russia are fully controlled by the state. All the information is controlled by the state about the users, and all the content is regulated by the Russian laws. And we can see here that there might be very different cases of banning or not banning Facebook for political content. We can say that main factors here are like the development, the level of development of the state. The next thing is their ability to not only to ban Facebook, but also to have some alternatives. And also, well, the main reason is that the states cannot control content on Facebook and regulate it because, as I said in the previous presentation about social networks, not all authoritarian states are really so powerful to have a very strong positions and connected with the Facebook and to I don't know, to oblige them to ban some content connected with the position or some political content. And the next reason is the lack of control of like information about the users. Like Russia, for example, and Roskomnadzor, they often supports the position that the information of Russian users, even it is when it is Vesper and social networks, should be stored in Russia. But in reality, Facebook or Twitter, they do not have information about the Russian users in Russia. They have it on their own servers, and they do not share it with the Russian authorities. So this is like the other reason why authoritarian countries wants to ban Facebook and why they do so, as I said before. Yeah. So this would be the answer on your question.
Okay, thank you for your wide response. And the next question is the following. We're really interested in why do various newspaper and magazines publications create their Facebook accounts, although in fact they are direct competitors for advertising of Facebook.
Thank you for your question. I think that I may answer it. Firstly, I want to mention that we think that it is impossible to call such competition between traditional media and Facebook completely direct. And as for a question, various newspapers and magazine publications create their Facebook accounts in order to achieve several goals at once. For example, Thanks to Facebook accounts, they increase brand awareness, increase the level of sales and orders, also increase the reach of the target audience, create an active community interested in their product, and all in all, promote media using a social network. Finally, traditional media use the tools that are given by the market, adapt themselves to it, and of course reach new audience and expand it. I think that's all.
Okay. Okay.
We are ready to answer your next question.
Okay. Thank you for response. But I have more questions, and it would be uh, for leisure time. The third question is, what is new challenges new challenges Facebook has experienced during the COVID-19? I'm interested in the platform view of this industry, social platforms.
Thank you for your question. Okay, the main thing is that during the pandemic, the traffic on site significantly increased. So is the load on servers, because Facebook is the most popular place where users can spend time while locked up in their homes. Secondly, the load on moderation have been also increased because Facebook has pledged to remove all the fake information about COVID and vaccines to save people's lives. I think that's all.
Thank you for your question and the response.
Okay, thank you. I want to add to the first question that our government decided that.
We don't hear you.
Yes, my friends, do you hear me? I have
Now
any
we
problems
do.
with the internet connection today. Yeah, thank you. About the first question. Okay, let's move to the second team, please. Second team is a team of goods and platforms. Okay.
Yeah, we are ready. Our first question is I think everyone heard about the recent personal data leakage from Facebook. So the question is what could be improved in terms of platform safety due to the recently leaked data?
Well, I think that it is a question more for specialists. What is like the reason of this data leakage? I can say that what can be said firstly, it's like some technological ways to solve the problem of data privacy and the security of it inside the company. Next thing is, I think the internal I don't know how call it how we call it in English, проверка inside the company. Maybe there might be some insiders. Sometimes it happens. Insiders inside the company which tries to sell all this data to some other companies or users and so on. And the third thing is, I guess, the response from on the market from other platforms. For example, when Facebook or other company has this scandal with data leakage, they like lose their reputation, and the users of these platforms, they just go to another platform. This is how the competition on the market works, really. And well, Facebook, not to lose users, they should make something for it, or this crisis with data will continue and the number of users will decrease. For example, with this is not only about like data leakage, but also with the data, like using data of users. Sorry for that strange phrase. There is a case when WhatsApp said that they will share their information with the Facebook, and of course Facebook will share this information with their own partners, and this led to a situation when the number of WhatsApp users, which is now a part of Facebook, decreased, and the number of Telegram users increased. And not to lose this audience, Facebook should prove this situation with data, or the process of decreasing of users will continue. This is just about the market competition, I guess.
Okay, thank you very much.
And the second question is, does Facebook have prospects for capturing the Russian market? I mean, Russians use social networks like ВКонтакте, Одноклассники, and Instagram more and don't like Facebook very much. What difficulties arise in this case if they will start to capture Russian market?
Okay, thank you for your question. VK is the unprecedented leader among Russian language social networks, overtaking all other projects in popularity. So the main audience of VK is young people who are of student or school age, looking for acquaintances, communication, and entertainment. While Facebook is used by older people whose priorities personal growth, self-education, travel, and etc. Russian Facebook is very elite, which is not found in other countries. Experts, journalists, politicians, cultural figures sit on our Facebook. Therefore, each user chooses the project that suits his interests. Thus, becoming a monopolist for Facebook is really a difficult task. Today, the social network can be called popular and largest, but not monopoly. I think that's all.
Thank you.
And the last question, why doesn't Facebook, like other platforms, make its own products, in this case, its own content? Would it be more profitable to not only enjoy user content, but also produce its own content?
Okay, I think I can answer. We think that it's not necessary. This is a peculiarity of the platform. They provide all conditions and resources for the interaction of users, and users create the content themselves. And at the same time, they make a profit that continues to grow. And according to the statistics, the number of users is gradually growing, which means that they are satisfied with Facebook's approach to organizing the activities. I think that there is no particular point to invest in the development of the direction you are talking about, since this will lead to additional costs, of course, and there is no guarantee of making profit. I think that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great. All the questions and all the answers are showing for us that the Facebook is the thing that is now on the balance between the interests of the customers, firms, government, and other stakeholders. And future of this platform is it is very hard to predict it, and it is hard to understand the right direction of development this network because it is something new. It is number one in the world, and of course, all the steps that Zuckerberg and his team will do are absolutely unpredictable for us. It is, and of course, it provides for us a great chance to research it further and to compare it with other social networks, and we will find a lot of interesting issues to research, I'm sure. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for your question and great presentation for 23 minutes. It's enough and a lot of interesting facts. Now we're going to the second seminar. If you need the break, please let me know. If you don't need, I suggest to move to the other presentation, that includes.
Maybe at least 5 or 10 minutes
Yeah, no
to.
problem.
Mhm.
Yeah, of course. We will see all together. It's 12:10 with the 12 minutes. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. See you with your presentation. If yes, please share screen.
Can you see the presentation?
Yes, everything is okay. Please start it.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Today we are going to tell you about such platform as AliExpress, and will provide you analysis of this platform. And start. We will start with business model. Here we can see a business model canvas according to Osterwalder and Pinnier. Here you can see key partners, key activities, key resources, value propositions, customer relationships, customer segments, channels, cost structure, and revenue streams. Next. Thank you. And we will start with value propositions. Um, mm, We divided value propositions into groups for sellers and for buyers. The first one for sellers is make it easier to do business anywhere. The seller can conduct his business from anywhere in the world. The second one, open and collaborative e-commerce ecosystem. It means that the platform is open to everyone. And the third one is shopping engine based on the big data. The company collects data about purchases and customers, which makes it more efficient to sell the products. Value propositions for buyers, it is a range of products, affordable price, low prices attract many customers, and the last one provides customers high quality product. The platform controls the sellers, and if there are complaints about the seller, then it puts him down in search engine. And now we'll talk about key activities. You can see that there is customer service, also logistics, also AliExpress provide platform for interaction between sellers and buyers. Also, it participates in conflict resolution between sellers and buyers, control the quality of sellers, and also it AliExpress provides such services as shipping. Also, it develops its branding and research and development. Our main segments are two segments. It is a middle class, a segment of middle class representatives whose life conditions have improved to such an extent that these people are now ready to change their consumption patterns and start buying quality products in bigger amounts. And the second segment is younger people, a segment of younger people who've been active internet users, have no troubles ordering products online, and are willing to increase their spending. And now we'll talk about business model dimensions. The first one is value creation. Platform type. The company uses both a website and a mobile application. Key activity is maintaining a robust common platform between two parties, product buyers and sellers. Price discovery, fixed price. For sellers, there is a certain percentage charged. Reviews. Buyers leave feedback on sellers, and the platform, based on ratings, distributes the order of sellers in the search. Value delivery. Key value propositions. The most important propositions are low price and big range of products. Transaction content is product. AliExpress is a platform for selling of goods. Participants, the main business model is B2C model, and it means that the main participants is customers and sellers. Geographic scope is global. Sellers from all over the world use AliExpress to sell their goods. Value capture. Key revenue stream. AliExpress takes a commission for the goods sold. Services such as delivery and storage of goods are also provided for a fee. Pricing mechanism. Sellers decide for themselves what price to set, usually less than in the market. Price discrimination, feature-based. Depending on the category of goods, AliExpress takes different commissions of 5 or 8%. And revenue source, sellers pay commissions on the sale of goods, and also AliExpress earn revenue from different services.
Platforms have a lot of advantages compared to traditional stores. Platforms enable direct interaction between asset owners and asset providers. By doing so, they disrupt traditional business models and destroy the image of value created by traditional companies. Also, there could be presented millions of products which would be impossible to arrange in traditional store. Moreover, there is an opportunity for everyone to visit platform, and this fact helps to increase profit. Now let's discuss advantages and disadvantages of AliExpress, which can be used in comparison with offline shops. Talking about advantages, AliExpress has been operating for more than 7 years. The site has many interesting sections. There is a mall section with especially high quality products. Also, there are more than 100 million products. Only here you will find, for example, a knife to cut the core of an apple, or metal that melts in your hand, and millions of other cool things. Next one, a huge number of payment methods, more than 10. Cashback works for AliExpress, and it allows you to buy any item for less. Most items have free shipping, track numbers, numbers for tracking packages in transit. On AliExpress are almost always given for free. The site can order on their own without any intermediaries. And the last one, if the product is not delivered to you, or if it is of poor quality, you can open a dispute and get your money back. Even for late delivery, you can ask to give your money back, and you will be right. Also, there are some disadvantages. First is at AliExpress, there are cheaters. Yes, it's still not a store, and the online marketplace and sellers are different. But if you know how to check the seller for reliability, you'll turn this disadvantage to your advantage. Second one, if you don't figure it out well, you could lose money, but not opening a dispute in time or not presenting the necessary evidence to get your money back. But it's okay. First, if you buy from reliable sellers, the likelihood of any problems is simply minimal. And secondly, even if there are problems, just read up on how to properly open and handle a dispute. On AliExpress, the last one, on AliExpress, you can send everything in one parcel. How many items you have ordered, so many parcels you will receive. Of course, if you order all the goods from one seller, he will send you all in one parcel, most likely. But in other cases, you will, in any case, have to receive separate parcels from each seller from whom you have ordered goods. So to sum up, AliExpress is a big source which gives an opportunity to buy and sell goods. The only aspect by which it can lose traditional shops is an inability to look at or try on the product before buying it. There is a percent of cheaters. However, the rules of AliExpress help to solve such conflicts. And also, in modern world, the quantity of people who prefer online shopping is growing. And now we would like to talk about prospects of platforms in different industry, prospects of AliExpress. We think that there is a high probability that in the future the level of personalization will grow. There would be much more data about each customer based on which algorithm will help to make a more precise offer. For example, when a customer will try to find some product, AliExpress will show him or her a particular goods which would be very close to customer preference. And one more, there is a prospect to expand to coordinate with other countries.
Now let's move to the legal regulations of the platforms and AliExpress. Customers can face different cases concerning international delivery. What legal documents should regulate such relationships? Well, in Russia, first of all, the Civil Code of the Russian Federation regulates the civil legal relations with the participants in the purchase and sale transactions. So Chapter 30 is devoted to buying and selling. There is also a model law on electronic commerce and the order of the Ministry of Finance of the Russian Federation number 279. But we cannot be guided only by the civil code of the Russian Federation since our delivery is international. Here we come to the aid of documents called International Rules for the Interpretation of Trade Terms, Incoterms 2000 and Incoterms 2010. These documents define the terminology and, for example, the time of transfer of risk during delivery. On the slide, you can see the examples of legal acts that regulate the civil legal relations in the world. Now let's talk about social effects of the platform. Well, there are also positive and negative. Next slide, please. Positive, there are, I will just name them. It connects customers and suppliers directly. It provides high level of trust through platforms transparency. It enhances the supply of goods. It improves productivity, increases flexibility and labor market accessibility for workers, and it helps local suppliers. But its excessive use leads to psychological damage and may cause mental health issues. It also increases inequality among suppliers, and it may increase cultural and language dissatisfactions. So that's the end of our presentation. Thank you very much, and we are ready to answer your questions.
Okay, great. Team Transport, please, you're welcome.
Okay, first of all, thank you for your presentation. The first of our questions will be, as is well known, AliExpress is some sort of monopoly on the market of selling goods platforms. So, how has it happened? Has the Chinese government been involved? I will print this question in the chat.
Thank you for your question. We need 1 minute to think about this.
Of course.
Yes, AliExpress is some sort of monopoly, and it happened because of a huge assortments and the widest choice among hundreds of sellers, low prices, and inexpensive or sometimes free shipping. These facts keep this marketplace popular with millions of ordinary buyers and small businesses from around the world. Uh, for clients from the Russia and nearby countries, a special plus is the fact that AliExpress is an online store available in Russian and in rubles. Uh, I cannot exactly say about AliExpress, but can about Alibaba in general, about government. Uh, Recently, Alibaba was fined 2.8 billion for abuse for its dominant position over competitors. The company has been accused of not allowing platform sellers to collaborate with others. The regulator believes that Alibaba's business practices restrict competition, influence innovation, infringe on the rights of sellers, and harm the interests of consumers. The authorities require the group of to change the rules of its business and submit a report on this within 3 years. And these actions the government did to regulate Alibaba and monopoly in particular.
Okay, thank you.
Hey guys, the second question is the following. So, I wonder if there is a policy regarding prices, because in your presentation you mentioned that prices are stated by sellers, but can AliExpress somehow control the way price formation is realized? I will also put the question in the chat so that it's easier.
Okay, so in general, AliExpress doesn't have a specific policy that would regulate pricing, but if you look at it, then such a policy is not needed. It is not profitable for sellers to inflate prices as there is a lot of competition and it won't be profitable to inflate prices.
All right, I get it. Thank you for the answer.
I'm sorry, Nina, do you have other opinion about this question?
Well, I thought that the answer would be, yeah, I agree with the answer because there is really no sense in increasing the prices because buyers will always go for the smaller price because in AliExpress, what I found is that there are similar products but with different prices. So people will definitely go for the least pricey product rather than buy the same one, which costs better, which costs more. So I was just wondering if there is a policy of like selling the same products in different prices. Does that make sense to sellers and to AliExpress?
Yeah, okay, I got it, thank you. And the last question, please.
I've sent my question in the chat. How platform can help local suppliers if, according to your presentation, it increases inequality among suppliers? How this both factors could.
Yeah, okay, give us 1 minute, please.
Of course.
Well, okay. Um, AliExpress itself promotes and gives a great opportunity for small businesses to exist on the e-market by providing its platform with low costs. So suppliers may relatively easy enter the Chinese market. But what we meant by inequality is that even though the platform evaluates and gives reviews both for suppliers and customers, this rating system may cause inequality. So some reviews may be bought and the supplier will have higher customers turnover even though the good is not the best. And there's also another way of looking on this situation. Almost everyone may join the platform by registration, I mean, the suppliers. By due to several reasons, it is easier for locals to successfully join it, mainly because of language issues. So it is the big problem of AliExpress is that there is a great amount of information which may be not translated properly into, for example, Russian, and that causes further difficulties.
Okay, great. I want to add to this question. You shown in your presentation negative social factors, and one of the social effects is may increase cultural and language dissatisfaction. Could you please think about the issue of dividing the world and increasing this determination or decreasing it according to the structure when there is the AliExpress and there is the China that produced a lot and further, will the situation change? For example, China will be more IT country or something else without a lot of productions, and AliExpress will close, or China will increase the level of small productions, the value of small productions, and the AliExpress will increase the rankings among all the world. So generally, is this situation and AliExpress particularly the tool to increase diversity of the world, or this is just a necessary step of development China, development our economy, when all the world will be the same without any countries with the main number of productions so, and so on. So is the AliExpress the general for the China, or it is just a tool to improve Chinese economy? Do you understand my question? Because I try to be more general and maybe it's hard to understand the right idea of this question.
Yeah, we got it. Um, may we just discuss it for 30 seconds, please?
Yeah, of course. I need just your opinion. I don't want to make any scores, just your ideas about it. Because it's question to discuss and to think of right now.
Well, we think that it's obviously not for only Chinese market promotion, because in modern world it's impossible. It's simply impossible to make everyone like the same and to adapt everything for the Chinese market to promote some goods and stuff. So, and AliExpress is trying to be different and it implements some diversification moments, but for example, these language issues and maybe some visual representations or descriptions of some goods may lead to these language and cultural dissatisfactions, which we actually were talking about. So in general, we think that it's about not only Chinese, but the world adaptation for the world individual perception. I believe I answered it. If no, let's elaborate a minute because maybe while I was answering, I forgot something.
Yeah, I want to add just a few words. My question was about the inequality of countries, and about that AliExpress is possible only in a country with a lot of production capabilities, such as China. Chinese develop constantly, and finally, this country achieved other positions with biggest IT clusters and etc. So the AliExpress is the marketplace to making purchases of the specific Chinese economy that is right now. But further, the Chinese economy will be developed, and all the small productions that works on this marketplace will be closed. And according to this position, the future of AliExpress is not as good as it is right now, and it is hard to predict when it's happened. But I'm sure that AliExpress will decrease the level in their positions, and maybe any other countries will takes this role in the modern economy and the global economy. So that's all. Thank you about your ideas, and going to the next team with their question.
Yes, our first question is, how does AliExpress use our personal data and on what purpose?
I think we can answer this question. First of all, the most obvious, the seller uses our personal information to deliver our orders, but it's important to mention about that not AliExpress uses this information, particular the seller. And talking about AliExpress, using our historical data, for example, which products we were trying to find, or something like this. It uses this data, and based on it, it constructs a recommendation system, which in the future will show us products which would be interesting for us. And one more, the same data helps to create algorithms which can help to for formation of discounts and special offers, something like this.
Okay, thank you for your answer.
Okay, but it means that all of the users should share their personal data. But if you're looking for researchers in the USA, for example, all of the users, 90% of users are concerned about their privacy issues. And if you're looking for the real examples of the people don't use, for example, any photos in WhatsApp and other messengers because they're concerned about their photos and all the other personal data. If you're talking, if you told about the future of that Express, when it would provide all the possibilities to find necessary tools and necessary goods quickly because of the personalization features. It is a very, very big question because I'm not sure that all the countries, all the people in diverse countries are able to share their personal data. It's a very big issue of the RIT economy. Okay, thank you very much. The next question, please.
Okay, I have actually got one point from your presentation. So how can AliExpress increase cultural and language dissatisfaction?
Well, once again, it is mostly about issues with proper translation. For example, in Russian, it is sometimes impossible to understand what good is presented, and I'm not even talking about its description, which is sometimes vitally important for the customers. Also, the types of goods or and their image may be perceived through individual cultural perceptions, which may lead to some dissatisfactions. That is actually what we meant by this.
Okay, thank you. I understood. And the last question is, does AliExpress have any competitors on Russian market, or it is the monopolist in shopping services in Russia?
AliExpress definitely is monopoly in China and has a significant market share worldwide. In Russia, there are companies such as Wildberries and Ozon, which are very popular among Russians. Also, in Russia, it seems to me that they can compete with AliExpress since the quality on this platform is higher and delivery times are shorter, which is very important since parcels from AliExpress can take about months. And maybe people are more loyal Russian companies and they seem more reliable than AliExpress.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that we will. It would be good if you had anything about the projects about like Taobao, because there is a very long history of collaboration between Taobao and AliExpress, and as I know now, Taobao is a part of AliExpress group, but before they were competitors, and there were a lot of competitors for AliExpress on the Russian markets because of the difficulties in using this service. But we will maybe describe it by ourselves in the free time. Okay, thank you very much. We have tomorrow. We have today great presentations. Thank you for your presentation. It was really interesting. And if you have any question, please ask me. If you don't have, well, we will see us together the next week, and it would be our last lesson. And I will tell you about your final scores, final results, and etc. So if you have any question, please ask me. If you don't have, thank you very much, and see you next week.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.